A 5-minute call on behalf of the Green Party, Maritime Davidson.
E te mangai o te whare tēnā koe, ka huri au ki tēnei whare tēnā tātou katoa, ka tū au mō ngā kākariki ki te kōrero i te pānuitanga tuatahi o tēnei te pire Maritime Crimes Amendment Bill, nō reira hei māngai mō ngā take tika tangata. Mr. Speaker, I stand as the spokesperson for human rights for the Green Party to support this bill to Select Committee stage. I wanted to talk particularly about the human rights balance in light of all counter-terrorism laws and particularly in light of our international human rights reputation thus far. As my colleague Dr. Kennedy Graham has pointed out, we have noted some concerns in the impediment of dissent, but I will actually go through. I understand that at this stage the bill is actually focused on actions of groups rather than designation. So I wanted to make that point. So this bill is potentially to put in place our obligations, New Zealand's obligations under the protocols of 2005, which are essentially maritime counter-terrorism treaties, are essentially our international obligations. So as mentioned, I can see through the first read of this bill that they are focused on one very, several important human rights freedoms, particularly the right to life and safety. And I do agree that at this point the bill is primarily to protect people's lives and feeling of safety. It appears under section 4A1, as my colleague has pointed out, but I want to repeat that it could potentially impact on actions of direct action, such as environmental groups, but I'm satisfied that both the actions would have to have been seen to cause harm and have been put in a particular category that I believe at this stage would not impact on just ordinary dissent. So I too am pleased to support the bill to Select Committee for that reason. What the Te Rōpū Kākariki will be keeping an ear out for in submissions is to make sure that the balancing act of upholding the various human rights is indeed strong, Mr. Speaker. So, such as freedom of thought and conscience, freedom of association and expression. We want to make sure that we have strong counter-terrorism legislation, but we also want to make sure that we are mindful of groups not being tagged too easily with this legislation for simply upholding other human rights freedoms, Mr. Speaker. And we also want to uphold freedom of privacy, freedom against torture, and being arbitrarily detained and or arrested. So I just simply wanted to stand and put to the House that Te Rōpū Kākariki will be listening out for our balancing act of upholding the particular freedoms that are involved in this legislation. Again, New Zealand's international human rights reputation is one to be protected and admired at this point, and I, particularly as the human rights spokesperson, will be keeping a keen eye and ear on how this bill develops in light of a common sense balance in upholding all the different human rights aspects. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.